climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Come
on! We've got Shohei Ohtani in the open, and the dude just doesn't stop. An Oppo taco that went like 6,000 feet yesterday. There's nobody hotter in the world right now in baseball. It's Shohei Ohtani, and good afternoon. It is Run Pure Sports, Swing for the Fences, alongside DC and Steve Boynton. I'm Holden. Hope everything's going well for everybody today. 14-game slate, DC. These Fridays, man, they just love to pile it on, and I was happy to see a nice afternoon game with the Cubs and the Orioles, but 14-game slate. I mean, how many lineups you making tonight?
Yeah, probably 5 to 10 on each site. We'll see. We'll see how the show goes, right? If Steve's real long-winded, maybe there'll be a few more while he's talking. But awesome slate. I love Fridays. 14 games. We did have the early game with the Cubs, as we always do if they're at home on Fridays. But a lot of offenses to choose from. Some pretty good pitching. I think some really interesting spots that I'm hoping come through for us. And yeah, can't wait to get to the games and break it all down with you guys.
By the way, dude, we got one more day after today of rainy weather here in Denver, and then it's supposed to be like 90. So we didn't have the spring, did we? But
I'm ready. I'm ready for the heat. Ready for the sun and the heat.
Yeah, I'm ready for the sun, but not the heat. But hey, Coors Field's about to play like Coors Field, so I'm excited about that. Boynton, talk to me here. What's going on? I thought you were at the Cubs game today. Probably too cold for you, a little too cold and windy. What's happening? Yeah. And how about you, 14-game slate? How many lineups you throwing in there?
I do 20 every night, so I try to stay consistent in that way. We've kind of had up and down weather here too. It's cold now. It's going to be hot over the weekend. The Orioles are in town. I'm going tomorrow, so that should be fun. Another day game. Monster slate here. We got the U.S. Open going on. Some cut sweats, some low scores. Huge slate here today. I feel like I've been talking to you guys all week because I was on an extra show. It feels weird.
No, it's good. This is the RPS baseball crew. You know, Monday, what is it? What day is today? Friday? Yeah,
Friday,
so Tuesday through Friday. That's what we're doing. Hope everybody's doing great. And we're going to get right into the slate because we got 14 games to mess with. So here's some big names that are out. Ellie De La Cruz, stick a fork in them today. Nick Senzel's back. Salvi Perez is out. And we got Francisco Alvarez with the Mets. He is out today as well. Devers returning the lineup. And Emmett Sheehan, who I can't wait to talk about because we're going to break down the pitchers here. This dude was not one of the top 10 prospects even in the Dodgers organization, if I am correct here. And he has just shot up the board this year with 88 Ks and 53 to third inning. So let's start, DC, like we normally do with weather, and then we'll get into pitching. Any weather that is concerning this evening?
Really, the only point of concern is that the very first game of the night, the Nationals game. Looks like might have some rain, but even that one, I think they can, at worst case scenario, wait a couple hours and probably play it. So, yeah, I'm not seeing really anything else to worry about at all. Maybe Mets and Cardinals, but again, I do think these games are going to be fine. For now, I would proceed as if all 14 games are going to go off the schedule.
Okay. Let's get into the pitching thoughts then. So we are going to start up top. Gausman with a tough matchup against the Texas Rangers in Arlington, Texas. He'll go against Martin Perez. McClanahan's up there, 11-2, 11K for McClanahan. Ryan's 10-6, Gallen's 10-2. Let's just go to the five figures and above here. Gausman, McClanahan, Ryan, and Gallen. Do you have any interest in any of these?
Yeah, I think a pretty good group of pitchers to choose from. I think all rightfully kind of priced up here. I think they've earned these price tags. Gausman has been kind of a bizarre pitcher this year where he's had like almost all of his starts have been just completely lights out, including against a lot of tough opponents. And then he's had like 3 or 4 starts where he just hasn't had it, including his last start against Minnesota. I think did he give up all those runs in the first or second inning? I think the majority of them ended up recovering to some extent. Steve, we talked about Gaussman. He is the most unique ace in the league, and that he really only throws the 2 pitches, right? Fastball and splitter. And the splitter is a pitch that you can kind of just lose your feel for. And when you only got 2 pitches, obviously that can hurt Gaussman. So he's had these bad starts before, and then he just goes back to being his dominant self, right? So that's what I would expect from Gaussman. That's a really tough matchup, of course, against the Texas Rangers, who have been the best team in baseball against right-handed pitching. So that has me a little bit lower on Gaussman, but I do think he's capable of really shutting down any lineup, including this one. So I don't think he's a bad contrarian play. McClanahan, kind of similar thoughts. Obviously a much different pitcher, but he does have a tough matchup going on the road to San Diego, who have finally started hitting a little bit. I'm a little bit nervous for him here. I still think he's a good option, but I do have both Gaussman and McClanahan behind Joe Ryan. I think Steve might end up disagreeing with me on this one a little bit. Twins have had kind of a quick hook for their pitchers recently, including Sonny Gray last night, who was very disappointing against the Tigers. They pulled him after 4 innings and what was he at? Right around 80 pitches, I think.
Yeah, under 80.
He was pretty upset about that, vocally in the dugout. You could see it. He wanted to get a chance to go out there and get the win, but he just wasn't pitching well. And so they did give him the hook. They've done the same thing to Gaussman in these Joe Ryan in these last 3 starts. You see the pitch counts for Ryan, 84, 88, 88. I did watch all 3 of those games, and I think it was more of a matter of Ryan just wasn't his super effective normal self, kind of got an early hook. So that's possible. But, the start before that, 107 pitches against San Francisco. I do think if Ryan is rolling tonight against the Tigers like I expect he will, I think he'll be back in the 90s, maybe up to 100 pitches like he normally is. That's my expectation. I know Steve might disagree a little bit, but I really like Joe Ryan. He is my favorite expensive option. I've got Zach Gallen next behind him. So, yeah, I'd rank them Ryan 1, Gallen 2, Gaussman 3, McClanahan 4. I do think you can make a case for any of those guys. I wouldn't, talk anyone off of playing any of the 4, but that's how I've got the 10K plus guys ranked.
All right, talk to me, Boyden. What do we got in the 5-figure range tonight? Are you trusting Ryan? Because I know JT did the playbook today. He was a little concerned with Rocco Baldelli, and I know Sonny Gray was a little concerned with Rocco Baldelli as well.
Yeah, Sonny Gray was not happy last night. They were fucking screaming at each other. Not happy is an understatement, as he should be. I mean, that's 4 straight starts that they pulled him under 80 pitches. It seems like it might be an organizational thing. DC and I were kind of going back and forth with this earlier today. We just don't know. If they let anyone go deep, though, it is going to be Joe Ryan, especially like DC said, if he's cruising. It's an interesting top tier here because you got the 2, true ace studs are both on the road in pretty tough matchups. Gaussman, I trust the most, but has a pitcher had like a 30-point outing against the Rangers in the last 2 months? Doesn't feel like it. They got to Ohtani last night. They're just like a super patient team. They're not taking bad at bats. I think Ohtani had 2 strikeouts last night. So at that 11-2 price tag, kind of tough to get to, although he does have the highest upside on the slate, I think, besides the other guy that I like the most above 10K, which is Zach Gallen. I used Cleveland last night in a good matchup against Ryan Weathers, but Zach Gallen at home, man, has been like the best pitcher in baseball almost. 47 innings at home, only 33 hits, 60 strikeouts, 0.9 ERA. He dominated, I think it was Colorado a couple starts ago, pitched decently against the tough Braves lineup. So I think I trust him the most in this spot. I'm not in love with any of the 4 guys up top, but for me, it's Gallen 1, and then I think it's McClanahan 2. The Padres have been hot, but they do strike out a lot. So, you could see a game where McClanahan gives up 2-3 runs, but strikes out 8 or 9 guys. And then, I think Ryan will be popular as he should be in this matchup with the Tigers. It's just after I was burned so badly, I had like 80% Sonny Gray last night, and it just felt so bad. They pulled him, against the Tigers. They had just taken the lead, just tough for me to click him at 10-6. I know he's a great play, but if you click him and they pull him after 5 innings and 84 pitches, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? So for me up top, that's a long-winded way of saying I'm Gallen, McClanahan, Gossman, Ryan up top, but none of the 4 are my favorite plays on the slate.
Okay, so we're not going up there for you. I love the 1980s Blue Jays talk in the chat right now. You probably never heard of Rance Mulliniks, but that's all right. He was one of my favorite players growing up.
Got the 83 World Series pin on this one.
Well, listen, right around that time, the Blue Jays were starting to come together, my friend. So let's move on to the next range of pitchers. That'll be the 9-9 through, I'd say, 8-1 DC. I don't know how Julio Teheran is doing it, but I guess he's back. Sandy Alcantara at 9-1. We know the K rate's down just a little bit. The walks are up just a little bit. He's not doing great out of the stretch is what I'd say there. So talk to us here. Herman on down to what I say, or Darvish tonight, who has a matchup against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so Domingo Herman up top at 9,900. I know he's been good recently. Going into Fenway, just an easy no for me there. So he's an easy cross off, in my opinion. Michael Kopech, I think, is a little bit interesting. He's had some really high strikeout games recently. He had 6 in his last game against Miami, but before that, 9, 10, 9, and 10 strikeouts. So yeah, he's been racking them up. The velocity's been up a little bit. He's looked like kind of like the Michael Kopech people expected, right? He was a huge prospect coming up through the White Sox system. Was really, really bad earlier in the season, and it kind of seems like he's figured it out. So I think he's a fun, high upside contrarian play at 9,300. I like him a little bit. I've been stubborn and kind of stuck with Sandy Alcantara through really most of this season. Obviously has not paid off thus far. I still think he's going to turn it around. I just don't love this matchup in particular against the Nationals, who do put the ball in play. He's a guy who pitches to contact a little bit too much anyway. So I just don't know if the strikeouts are going to be there for him, but I'm sure now that I'm off him, he'll have, one of those Sandy complete game shutouts and put up 40 on me. So maybe I'll get a share too, just in case, but that's my general thoughts on him. Honestly, this whole range, I don't love it all that much. The guy that I'm looking at as a true contrarian option, maybe a 1% type play, is Tanner Houck, who I've been on a little bit these last 3 or 4 starts. He's had 2 good ones in there, including last time out against the same Yankees team, 6 strikeouts. This Yankees lineup right now, I think, is just really not good. You've got who's hitting in this lineup at all? You've got Giancarlo in there. This is a horrible matchup for Stanton. I think Houck's got a good chance to strike him out with the arm angle thrown from the right side, the sweeper that he has. And other than that, there's just not many dangerous bats here. So I do think Houck has a good chance to rack up strikeouts. Nobody's going to play him. I like him at 8,800. And then I guess Darvish is okay. The Rays haven't been quite as good. Haven't been on Darvish all that much this year. He would be kind of my second favorite option. But yeah, not my favorite range here. The 8 to 10K range. I would rank them Kopech 1, Houck 2, Alcantara 3, Darvish 4. But the guy I'll probably play the most of is Houck in this range.
Yeah, Steve, Darvish actually has a 2.68 ERA, 37 innings at home, and a 2.83 WOBA against. Would you consider Darvish tonight, or is that a fade for you too?
I'm considering Darvish for my main lineup. Darvish at 8K at home, where he's been really, really good. I just feel kind of safe there at 8K, right? For a single entry team at least. He goes deep in games. He's been great at home, like you said. And Tampa kind of has cooled off a bit on this West Coast road trip, as teams tend to do. They're at the end of their long road trip. I think that they could maybe stumble a bit in this series out west. So I like Darvish a good bit. I think he's my favorite in this range. I do like Kopech at Seattle. Debating just playing both pitchers there in my main lineup. Kopech was it like 4 or 5 starts ago? Basically ditched the approach that he had and remade himself on the fly and has been really good since then. I was at that start against Miami last Saturday. He looked good there, and that's been his worst start in the last 5. So the only ding on him is he's a road underdog. So, that's probably why he'll be lower owned. But I do like him a good bit here. Sandy, man. Nats are pesky. We saw it last night with Houston game. Javier just couldn't get any swings and misses. This team doesn't hit for any power, but they just try to flick balls into right field and they're just annoying as shit. Sandy's not missing many bats right now. So he's the one in this range that I'm not sure if he's going to make my pool or not. Just seeing him at 9-1 is just man. And then the last guy I'll mention, Tristan McKenzie. I'm not sure if you mentioned him, DC. He's been back for 2 starts. One was excellent. One was not very good. The underlying stuff so far looks good. I just don't really love the spot, the road matchup in Arizona, a team that doesn't strike out that much against righties and hits them pretty well. So I think it might end up being a wait and see for me on McKenzie. I think he might be my last guy that X out, but obvious upside, strikeout upside in that arm in the mid 8K range.
All right, so here we go, DC, in that sub 8K range. We can go the 7Ks. How about this? We'll go the 7K range, and then we can do dumpster dives after that. The guy I'm interested in, though, hearing you talk about is Andrew Abbott, because the first 2 starts have been good from a fantasy perspective, but he's given up some walks and some hard hits. So is that coming to an end tonight?
I think so. We'll get to offense stacks eventually, but I really like the Astros against Andrew Abbott here. Like you said, the results have been good, pretty good on the surface at least. But if you look at his numbers against righties so far, it's a 32% line drive rate, almost no ground balls, not missing many bats. I think the Astros are perfectly set up to finally, give Abbott his first taste of a bad big league start. So that's my prediction with Andrew Abbott. So I won't be going there. Not the craziest play at 7,100 if you wanted to do it. Personally, not for me. My favorite pitcher in this range is JP France, who I'm starting to come around to just a little bit. Still don't think he's as good as he's shown so far in terms of results, but I do like the matchup here against Cincinnati. No Ellie De La Cruz in the lineup tonight, which does lower France's strikeout upside for sure, but also obviously that's a dangerous bat that could get to him. He's 7K, and the Astros trust him. He throws 90 to 100 pitches every time out. Reds got a pretty low team total, so I think France is interesting. Taijuan Walker's been really good 2 starts in a row, one of those against the Dodgers. I don't really trust it, but his velocity has been up in both those starts, and he does get the Oakland A's. So I think you could make a case for Taijuan Walker. I know Steve, I don't think he's a fan of his in general. I'm not really either, but I do like this price tag, and I do like this matchup, and he has been pitching better. So he's a guy I'm looking at as well. I've seen some mention of Sandoval in the chat. That's kind of an easy no for me. I just don't think Sandoval's any good, frankly. So I'm going to pass there. No thanks on Miles Michaelis, and that pretty much covers that range. The Giants going with a bullpen game, nothing to play there.
All right, so we're going 7K through 7-8 on DK. Steve, get your thoughts on Abbott. I'm pretty interested in your thoughts there. And then, are you even going to this range tonight?
So first on Abbott, I agree with what you said. He looks okay out there, but the lack of control is going to hurt him at some point. I think he's got 100% strand rate so far. I'm not sure if that was already mentioned. Going into Houston, who kind of flopped last night, and I thought what was a decently tough matchup against an up-and-coming pitcher. Abbott is due for the regression. So yeah, I mean, I'm in on Astros here. They aren't my favorite stack, but you could see this turning bad in a hurry for Abbott here. The guy in the mid what is he, 6'7", that I think is interesting, is Rich Hill. Guy I haven't played at all this season, but he's a lefty against the Brewers.
Way to go off of the script here, Boyden.
What?
I mean, we're supposed to cut it off at 7K, dude, but that's fine if you want to go to Rich Hill.
Well, you said 7'6" to 7'8", and that's like one pitcher. So I
no, to 7K. But I do like Rich Hill tonight. So fine. Why don't you go with Rich Hill there, Mr. Fancy Pants? Because I love him too. What's the adjustment he made? Seriously, what's the adjustment he made? Because he looks – it's the beginning of the season. He looked like hell. He came back and pitched well. He went through another funk, and he's back again.
Yeah, his only two poor outings over the last month are the outing against the Rangers, who we just talked about. No one has a good outing against the Rangers, really. And then that start in San Francisco that kind of got away from him there. Gets to face Milwaukee here, who we've been picking on with left-handed pitching pretty much all season. Top 10 strikeout rate, bottom, 5 to 8 offense against lefties. Am I super confident in Rich Hill continuing this? No, but he's cheap, and the underlying stuff is basically in line with what he's been doing over the last month. So, I think you can expect 15-ish fantasy points with upside for 20 or so from Hill, which at 6'7", I'm not playing him like in my main lineup, but I will have him in my run of 20.
Okay. So DC, we'll round it out. Let's go dumpster diving. JP Sears. Rich Hill, I don't think is a dumpster dive. We got Juju Smith-Schuster tonight. And then going for Seattle, a little Brian Wu action. Woo! What do you got?
Yeah, you nailed it. I think Brian Wu is the best starting pitcher play on this slate. 5,400 for this guy. I mean, this guy was absolutely shoving in the minor leagues. He was down in Double-A, but what did he have? Like a 35% K rate. Wasn't walking anybody. Just was crushing it. Kind of came out of nowhere, I think, in the Mariners system. Gets the call up. That first start against the Rangers, who obviously are a very tough team. I think it was the first inning, and he just couldn't get it out. There was like some dribblers, Texas League single. Like he didn't even pitch that bad. He wasn't walking guys, but he only made it through the 2 innings in that start. Still had the 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. So it's sometimes teams just string together hits against you, and there's not a lot you can do about it. It's kind of what happened to Brian Wu, especially against a team like Texas. In Texas on the road, major league debut. I don't know. I kind of give him a pass for that one. He bounces back from that one, goes to Los Angeles, another fairly tough matchup. 7 strikeouts to 1 walk over 4 2/3 innings. Looked pretty damn good to me. The underlying metrics look really good. He's getting chases outside the zone, getting swinging strikes, actually throwing a ton of strikes in general, getting ahead of hitters. Like all the stuff that he did in the minor leagues that led to such massive success, he's kind of done in the big leagues so far. It just, that first start against Texas, his MLB debut didn't turn out well, didn't go his way. But I think this guy might legitimately be a pretty damn good major league pitcher already. And he's bottom basement price tag. It's a great place to pitch in Seattle. Great matchup, I think, against the White Sox, who are mostly right-handed. And, really just haven't hit much at all. Frankly, outside of a lack of a track record, can't really find anything not to like about Brian Wu. I'm not even seeing him be very highly owned tonight. I'm seeing like 5 to 10%. I bet he comes in higher than that. I think he should be, but yeah, it's not like everybody's jumping on. So it seems like a great place great spot to play Brian Wu. I'm using him on FanDuel as well. I've got a lot of faith in him. He's 6,500 over there. Allows you to get pretty much whatever bats you want into the lineup. So he is my favorite pitcher on the slate. He'll be in probably every lineup that I have, and it's a ride or die spot for me with Brian Wu tonight.
Woo! You going Woo? You going a little Woo? Huh? A little Ric Flair down there? Steve Boynton?
Yeah, I'm playing impartially just so I can post Ric Flair gifts in the chat once he deals here. I was working on a lineup there, so I wasn't sure if DC squeezed in the FanDuel prop. We'll have to mention that later. That we both like on him. Yeah, this is a guy. I played him last start. I think he was on like the Saturday night slate or something last weekend, maybe. But yeah, he looked great. The pedigree's good. The swing and miss is there. The strikeouts are there. I'm using him on my main team tonight. I'm pretty confident in him. He's at home here. He's been on the road for his first 2 starts. Now gets the White Sox here at home, who hit a couple bombs last night against the Dodgers, but really didn't do much else in that game. And then over the past month, White Sox 28th in weighted runs created plus, 25th in ISO. Just kind of an offense that you really want to attack, especially on the road in a huge park. It feels weird. Like DC, I've like a decent amount of confidence that he's going to pitch well.
That's what I'm saying. I would play him. I'd play him at 8K, 9K. I've got confidence in him to pitch well.
So he's going to be like in my single entry lineup. I'm not sure who's going with him is what I'm trying to figure out. But yeah, he's my favorite play on the entire slate. I've been waiting for his turn to come back up, and I'm glad that we get it on such a huge slate where I think the ownership isn't as high as like an afternoon slate or something with 4 games. So
you gotta love having the pitcher hammer on the last game of the night on a Friday night as well if your team's doing well.
Yeah, pump for it.
Do you guys talk on the phone or anything like that? Seems like there's a love affair here. It's nice to see that there's actually some positivity in this world. Like, Boynton, did you spoon with DC at the party?
We did not share a room. No. Shared a room with 2 guys who are not with the company anymore.
All right, we'll move on. Also, I know what bet you're talking about. Can we?
Now we know why. Now we know why they're not with us anymore.
Oh, I know. I scared them away.
It was either that or they were
early morning
to
college basketball shows.
Yeah, and Kentucky, they're kind of tough with what they were they were going to charge you with. Anyways, can we just keep the bet behind the paywall? It's a great bet, and I absolutely love it. Yes. I absolutely tailed you, but let's keep it behind the paywall. If anybody needs Boynton to type it into the baseball chat, by all means, just ask for that, and it's pretty simple. So, last but not least, look at Mangone. You might like it, Mangone. Give it a chance. Give it a chance. Anything on FanDuel? Who's your top pitchers on FanDuel, DC?
Yeah, I'm using Brian Wu. He's cheap there too at 6,500. And listen, there are some big bats that I want to get in my lineup that are expensive. Guys like Ohtani, Ronald Acuna. I mean, who would want to play those guys? So I like Brian Wu. I will say we could mention him now. Emmett Sheehan, the Dodgers rookie. Not in the DK player pool, but FanDuel did add him to the pool. He's 7,700. He's been really, really impressive, through the minor leagues so far. So I wouldn't mind taking a shot on him. I'm looking up, his game log. He's good to go. 94 pitches in his last start. Missing a ton of bats. The swinging strike rate for him is just through the roof. Now it is AA, so obviously – things could go wrong, but I do think he's got upside based on his minor league stats.
Yeah. What would we say? 88 Ks, 53 and a third innings.
Yeah. I mean,
this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
We're taking a shot on, right?
For once, FanDuel did something better than DK, I think, for the first time in the history of the world.
Yeah. And they added him during the day because he was not there this morning.
They actually cared about DFS for once. I don't know what's happening over there. Boynton, anything different on FanDuel? Maybe Emmett Sheehan?
Yeah, I do like that call. I will say on FanDuel, Darvish is meaningfully cheaper than guys like Ryan Gallen. He's like 2K cheaper. So I like Darvish on both sides. Okay, very good. Time for the spiel, folks. Like button would be wonderful. Helps us out with an algorithm, whatever that is. So let's do that. Hit the like button if you do want Mangone to be the small part of the spoon. Might get something put in his back there. Like I'm talking about his discs in his upper back. And then Summer 33 is the promo code. 33% off your first payment of a weekly or a monthly subscription. And this weekend we're going to be busy. We got MMA, don't we? Golf is in full swing. We got Showdown going on there.
You could throw an extra $20 on the bet side. So that's going to be a lot of fun. You can get everybody's picks over there. So it's not just baseball. We're not just waiting for football season. There's other things, MMA, golf, tennis. You think of it, we can do it. You're right, Mangone. The small spoon ain't so bad. Good point. Good point. Move on to the offenses now. 14 games to go through, 28 teams. Yes, DC, there was something on the tip of your tongue. Did you want to keep it in your mouth or say something?
No, I just, after 3 years, I'm kind of finally coming around to your brand of humor, Holden. You made me laugh a couple times the last 2 days. So nice work.
All right, don't get used to it. I will disappoint you sooner than later. Alcantara and Trevor Williams, the pitching matchup here. Miami at Washington. DC, usually I got to go to you first, but anytime Baltimore or Washington's playing, I got to go to Boynton here. We're both DC guys. Do we want to go to the Miami bats tonight? And then you were talking before the show about the Nats being a little bit of, maybe you did it on the show, that the Nats are a little bit pesky. I'm not messing with them against Alcantara tonight, but what about some Miami bats?
Yeah, I think you can go to Miami here. Healthy team total. I will say with Trevor Williams, never seems to get just completely bombed. He is a guy that we attack. He gives up home runs. I think he's got the highest home run per 9 allowed on the slate. So I do prefer like maybe trying to hunt those bombs or secondary stacks with Miami. We got good weather in DC as far as temperature. So if that game ends up clear to go, which I think it does end up playing, I do like the secondary stacks, the minis, the one-offs on the Marlins side.
DC, Miami, Washington. Yay or nay?
Yes, looking up the weather here quick. Not going to the Nationals bats against Sandy Alcantara. That's just a no-go for me. But yeah, I think Miami's interesting, and yeah, this game's going to play fine. Maybe a delay somewhere in there, but they will get this game in almost certainly. Yeah, I think Jesus Sanchez would be my favorite. 2,800 hitting cleanup. He's been good against righties, good in general lately. Nice park upgrade, and as we always mention, no lefties in the pen for the Nationals, so good matchups for Sanchez all game long.
All right, coming right back at you, the Yankees and Boston. These two teams played on a Sunday night a couple weeks ago. Game went way under. Both Herman and I'm talking about the two pitchers too, Houck and Herman, both look pretty good that night. So are there any bats? And Devers is back, DC. Is there any real reason to go to this game besides the fact that Fenway's a nice hitter's park?
That's the biggest reason, but I do like the Red Sox here against Domingo Herman, who I know he's been good. I still think this is a really tough spot for him to pitch, and I think the Red Sox could get to him here. So I do like the Red Sox side. I'm not on the Yankees side here. Kind of surprised, frankly, that the Red Sox aren't bigger favorites in this game, given the disparity, or what I think is a disparity between the two lineups. So yeah, I kind of like Tanner Houck, as I mentioned, as a contrarian play tonight. Not going to the Yankees, and I do like a full-on Red Sox stack here. I can see getting there.
Both lineups are shitty. So you're saying that the Boston lineup is shittier than the Yankees lineup?
No, Yankees lineup shittier.
Than okay.
I don't think Boston's lineup shitty, at least not the top half of it.
Yeah, the 1 through 5, you can at least make a case. That's
and
kind
Steve's
of
home run call is in here. So
Whoa, come on. You're
What?
disrespecting.
Oh,
You're disrespecting
that's
Connor Wong
Paywall. Hold on a second. Look at Butto. He's in shambles without Big T here. Hold on, that was the wrong guy. I'm still stuck on doing research on Brian Wu.
Is that a question?
On Burgundy. Tony will be back sooner than later, buddy. Butthole, you'll have him back. All right, what do we got here? Yankees and Red Sox, Steve.
Yeah, gotta like the Red Sox side. I hope they go a bit under the radar here. People do like Herman. I think he's been a bit lucky this year. Last month and a half or so, he's got like a 2.2 ERA, but an expected ERA of almost 5. Now he's going into Boston, good hitting weather. I think this total is about to hit 10. So with two pitchers that we respect a bit, seeing a total that high is pretty striking. So I like the Red Sox side a lot. I think if you don't play Houck, I think you can play some of the Yankees lefties. I think I'm going to use them as minis or one-offs. Houck, giving up power to the left-hand side. 2.3 per 9 is a pretty big number there. So in your non-Houck lineups, if you're with DC on him, I don't mind mixing in the lefties. They are cheap. Like Bowers is leading off. He's cheap. Calhoun, McKinney for the first time in his career is like actually hitting well. So they're cheap. And if you like the expensive pitchers, the Yankees lefties are all right. But it's definitely the Boston side here.
Chris, you're a subscriber now. So all the goods, you can get the goods. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if the Discord is working for you yet. You got to get in the Discord if you're not, though. That's what we got to hook you up with. Okay, next game. St. Louis at the Mets. Again, the only bat I'm really seeing that's not in here is Alvarez tonight. McGill has been hot garbage, DC. Mikolas on the mound on the other side. Can I make the case for some Cardinals against a right-hander?
I don't hate it, but 14-game slate. Not the best hitting weather. I didn't find myself really gravitating toward any bats, frankly, here. So I'll pass on this one.
Steve? Matt
I think you can go to the Cardinals bats here. They've been hitting righties really well lately. Fifth in weighted runs created plus over the last 2 weeks, third in ISO. McGill really just crashing back down to earth this season. He's been absolutely awful over the last month. Almost 6 walks per 9. It can go south real quick if you're just giving away that many free passes. We know that the Cardinals do have power. Obviously, the 2 righties, but guys like Gorman in the 3-hole, always a great home run prop on him. Jordan Walker's been hitting a bit since he's come back up. So here it would be the Cardinals side for sure. And I'm pretty sure I've sworn off the Mets for the season. So I'm not playing the fucking Mets.
There's a long season, Steve. Maybe you'll change your mind at some point in time. That's all I can tell you.
Last year, Gary swore off a team and then ended up stacking them for like a month straight.
Yeah, but that was like April 10th.
He lasted a week and a half.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Rockies who can actually hit a little bit on the road, just a little bit. And, of course, the Braves did what we thought they'd do, just smash Kyle Freeland. Braves not as good against right-handers, still really good, though. Rockies get to face Juju Smith-Schuster. I could see some runs in this game. I mean, the total here is 10.5 DC. But, listen, we'll never say don't play the Braves, but are the Braves in your pool tonight?
Yes, of course. Amazing spot here for the Braves against Dinelson Lamet. Maybe me and Steve's not our proudest moment. We did play Dinelson Lamet in his first start back from the minor leagues. That did not go well. I think the first 6 runners that he faced reached base.
So that was a legacy start.
Yeah. Learned my lesson. But maybe he'll give that money back in the opposite way by stacking the Braves. They did it again last night. What they put up 10 runs in that game, something like that. 8 runs. Hard to keep track with the Braves. Always getting there. Yeah, I mean, the truth is, Lamet maybe still has talent. Like, he hasn't gotten anybody out at the big league level all year long. Like, it's just been a disaster for him. And I would be surprised if his first good outing of the year came against the Braves in 85-degree weather in Atlanta. So I love this team. Talked about it yesterday. Like, I think the Braves are going to put an absolute hurting on the Rockies this whole series. Second game here, burned through the bullpen already last night. I said yesterday I would be on the Braves all weekend long, and that will hold true tonight. I think they're going to do some serious damage here.
All right, what do you have here, Steve Boynton?
Yeah, it was all over the Braves last night. I ended up playing Braves on 80% of my 20 lineups, which went well. Love them again here. I'm going to play them in my main lineup. The only question is who I'm playing them with. I played some in my non-Smith Shawver lineups. I played some Rockies last night, and I'm going to do that again. I don't think Schuster is all that great. We got awesome hitting weather here. I think you can pick off some Rockies. I like Tavares up in the 2-hole now, which is nice. Grichuk. I'll continue to play Nolan Jones. I mentioned him on Tuesday, I think. Just still underpriced. He's been their best power hitter since they called him up. He's been awesome. And they have some cheap pieces towards the back of the lineup. So I'm in on both sides of this game. I bet the over. My only question is who I'm playing Braves with in my main lineup, basically.
Okay. Toronto, Texas will be the next one, but I do want to remind you, hit the like button. That'd be wonderful. Mariah Mills is taking her game up on Twitter if you want to check that out. That's looking great. I just can't stop today. And being that I'm not on Twitter anymore, if I didn't have a beautiful girlfriend, I would pursue that. Probably wouldn't be successful, but she couldn't come after me after that. Also, Summer 33 is the code, 33% off your first payment of a weekly or a monthly plan. Lots of sports still going on. Everybody, it's good time of year. We can't. There's still the golf. We still got NASCAR. We still got baseball. We got tennis, MMA. So get in there. Dip your toe in right now. We'll see what's going on. Next up on our baseball slate this evening, Toronto, Texas. I'll just say I watched all those games or maybe I missed one game with the Toronto, Texas, with the Angels Rangers series. But boy, the Angels went in there and beat their asses. So maybe Texas bounces back tonight. I am playing one lineup since it's a Friday night. DC, I'll just dive in the pool. Maybe I'll donate, but I'm going with the Rangers against Kevin Gausman. The Rangers at 0% ownership, basically. So give it to me there. And look at Boynton. He's like, thanks for giving me the money. So talk to me.
You're doing what? On a 14-game slate?
Yeah, I'm going Texas, bro. Brochacho.
I don't mind it. I'll side with Holden on this one.
It's the best off. Maybe they're coming back down to earth. That's my only concern here. But talk to us here. Any Toronto against Perez in Texas?
If this was in Toronto, I think I would be in. Steve pointed this out to me earlier today. Perez has been really, really good pitching at home, so that's somewhat of a concern. You can definitely still play Toronto. Obviously, a ton of right-handed power in that lineup. I don't hate it. I didn't get there tonight myself. And then, Gausman has had the 3 or 4 blow-up starts this year. You get one of those tonight against one of the best offenses, is not the best offense in baseball, you're off to the races because nobody's playing Texas tonight. So I totally get it from a GPP perspective. And, your night will probably be over like 2 innings into this game when Texas is over 6 with 5K. So you can just move on with your life. It's great.
Okay. All right, Boynton, let's go.
No bets here. I'm not going to play anyone against Gausman. And I think Toronto's okay. I think this is one of the oddest stats of the season. So Toronto is against left-handed pitching. They are dead last in baseball in ISO.
That's crazy.
With a team full of right-handed hitters. They've got 8 righties in the lineup tonight. It seems odd. It seems wrong. But, maybe later in the series for Toronto, I think they come in over-owned. People trying to attack Perez because he hasn't been good lately, but he hasn't been at home much of late. And let me pull up those stats on the year for him at home. At home this season, 1.4 ERA, 0 home runs given up in 25 innings. He's been off on the road, 6.5 ERA, 11 bombs on the road. So I'll be waiting until they take a road trip to attack Mr.
Donnie
Perez.
Johnson, folks. Donnie Johnson tonight. I'm calling my shot again. Absolutely love it.
After he had 2 the other day, he
Huh?
missed it the other day. He had 2 the other day.
Yeah, he had a 31 spot on DK. It was kind of nice to see. Love me some Donnie Johnson. Hey, the Angels, I don't know if they come back down to earth after what was actually a pretty emotional series against the Rangers, but they get to pick on Brady Singer tonight. Sandoval's on the other side. Guys, DC, I'm just locking in Ohtani. That's it. He's got to be in there. He's in fuego. He's the hottest hitter in baseball right now. Talk to me.
He's been insane.
You have Ohtani in the Angels.
Ohtani, he's just been incredible. He gets an incredible matchup here against Singer, who's been bad. It's bad against lefties in general. Spots don't get much better than this for Ohtani. You could argue the park's not the best. When you got Shohei's power, it doesn't matter all that much where you're playing. So totally get it. He's very, very expensive at $6,400. But yeah, He could absolutely do his thing. So, yeah, if you can get Ohtani in your lineup, pretty good move to do so. Outside of him, I don't love the Angels lineup, so I didn't end up stacking this team. But I do think Ohtani may be the best one-off on the entire slate. And then Royals against Sandoval. Didn't really end up on either side of this matchup personally.
All right, what do we have here, Boyton, with Ohtani-san and the rest of the Halos?
Love this game for bats. Going to be using both sides of this game. I'm thinking of using the Angels as my main secondary with the Braves. They just fit really well. Pull up the lineup. So obviously Ohtani, Matt Tice is hitting fifth. He's been crushing right-handed pitching lately, and you want those power left-handed bats against Singer. So I like him. And then Mickey Moniak is leading off. He's been just awesome since getting called back up, just absolutely smashing righties of late for huge power. So I like this lineup a bit. Trout's been struggling, but, man, a weekend series with the Royals might be a good time to wake up in 90-degree heat. So while he is not the, priority play that he usually is, I could see him turning it around. What makes it easier to get to Ohtani is with the injury to Zach Neto, they called up Andrew Velasquez, who is min price on DK at shortstop. So keep that in mind if you're stacking the Angels. You can use that free square at short.
Julio Teheran, Rich Hill, the pitching matchup, Pittsburgh at Milwaukee. DC, Ohtani or Rich Hill? Who has more raw fantasy points tonight on DK?
I hope Ohtani, because I can't click the Rich Hill button. I can't really argue with anyone that's doing it, but I know how this would end if I tried to play Rich Hill after not playing him all year long. I would be the one eating the -12 Rich Hill start. So I will not curse everybody else who's playing Rich Hill. You guys take your 12 fantasy points and go celebrate Rich Hill night. But yeah, I'm not really playing any Brewers either. And Teheran, I'm not buying this whatsoever. I know he's been good through the 2 or 3 starts. We know who this guy is. He's throwing like a huge amount of fastballs, and I love the Pirates tonight, specifically the lefties. What's up, Steve? You made a gesture like you were upset.
He's got gas. I can tell.
We don't have a lineup yet for the Pirates. What the fuck?
Yeah, good. I hope they wait till 2 minutes before the game so I can get my Pirates under-owned. But yeah, I think Teheran, I mean, we have a long history of him obviously pitching, and he gets crushed by lefties. Jack Sawinski is going to take Teheran deep. I think Reynolds does it too. Two of the best lefties against right-handed pitching in all baseball, specifically Sawinski. I sent Steve a chart, #chartman, on expected slugging percentage for lefties against righties. Sawinski is number 1 in all of baseball, ahead of guys like Shohei Ohtani. So yeah, he is spoiler alert, my favorite play of the night. Andrew McCutchen has an awesome history against Teheran. I love Reynolds, so yeah, you can stack up these Pirates and hope this lineup never comes out. Frankly, I'll trust it. I know who's going to be in there.
Lucia is not going to play Rich Hill, and he's not very happy about it. He's just not doing it. I got the extra salary. I'm gonna go up to Sandoval, I suppose. I know K Fallick likes Sandoval just a little bit. Boyton, you're dumbfounded? What's going on here?
No, so I was going to tell a story, and this is a perfect time for it. So your play of the day last week was Josh Palacios, right? So was at the game when they played the Pirates with my friend's dad, who's a Pirates fan, and Josh Palacios threw him a ball because he had a Pirates hat on. So that's your guy right there in right field. So I'll be playing him tonight, along with a lot of Pirates. Been attacking Teheran his last couple of starts.
Oh, real quick, Steve, did DC pick Palacios or did not?
No, Holden, you did, yeah.
How did that work out for me? Probably not well.
I don't remember it being good.
I don't remember anything, to be honest. I really don't even remember if DC likes the Mets tonight. So by all means. I'm just going to go on previous history and say he's never going to play him again.
That's
But boy,
probably because you never listened to a damn thing that was said.
I actually have been listening. I've been researching my ass off, and I haven't been high on a show for like 6 months. That's not true. Probably 5.
That can't
Anyways, yeah, it's true. Boyd, finish it up for us, buddy. Pirates.
Yeah, so gotta love the Pirates here. Going to continue to stack against Tehran. The Brewers bullpen hasn't been good this year either. Hopefully, Ji-Hwan Bae's in the lineup. I like him a lot, the speed. So, I'm in on the Pirates. They're one of my 5 stacks tonight.
Steve, I'm coming right back at you here. Tyler Alexander is going to get a couple innings for the Tigers tonight against Minnesota. Who is it? Will Vest. Yes. Maybe there's a Yurfie in there. A yes run in the first inning. I wonder what the odds are on that one. But how about some Twins tonight?
Donovan Solano's back on the lineup, hitting 5th. No, I'm definitely not playing Twins here. This is a bullpen game for the Tigers. They're starting with Will Vest, and then who knows what they're actually going to do. It's a team that just pinch hits a lot, so I'm definitely not playing them on a 14-gamer. I'm sure Solano will be 1% owned and go 0 for 5 tonight after he hit his 29th career home run and 3,000 at-bats last night at almost 30% owned. So no bats in this entire game for me. I'm not playing Twins.
Okay. DC? You're not playing the Twins. You're not doing that.
No, not playing the Twins. And obviously love Joe Ryan. I do have a little – I'm not playing him, but if anyone wants to get the Zach McKinstry opening at bat home run, I got a bad feeling about it. So there you go.
You're just going to bet the first at bat of the game then.
Yeah, I should. I won't, though.
I mean, if you really want to back it up. Cincinnati, Houston, I'm coming back to you. I think we're all on the same page here. Abbott, smoke and mirrors going up against Houston tonight. Houston's burned me actually twice in the past 2 weeks. Guess I got to put that behind me. France is on the other side. JP France. No Ellie De La Cruz. Any bats in this game, DC?
Yeah, I love the Astros here. So Andrew Abbott, he was a fly ball pitcher in the minor leagues, and that has proven true here in the big leagues. Right-handed hitters so far through 2 starts for Abbott are hitting a line drive or a fly ball on 76% of the batted balls, and that is 0 infield fly balls, so 0 pop-ups. So a fly ball or line drive, 75% of the time they're making contact. His strikeout rate also hasn't been there. He's almost walking as many guys as he strikes out. 32% line drives for righties so far against Andrew Abbott. Like, he's getting squared up a lot by right-handed hitters, and they just haven't done any damage yet. 48% hard hit rate. Like, man, I think the Astros, who are disciplined, right, for the most part, they can kind of lay off, get ahead in the count, get that fastball, and then take advantage of it with the Crawford boxes in left field. So Altuve, Bregman, Pena, Mauricio Dubon leading off. Yainer Diaz, I think, is the sneakiest catcher play of the day, hitting 6. He looks like a legit bat to me. McCormick, I mean, it looks good. And then the only lefty in there is Kyle Tucker, who can hit lefties well himself. So he's not a bad play whatsoever either. So, yeah. I love the Astros. They are my second favorite stack behind the Braves, and I think they hit a couple home runs here off Andrew Abbott.
Reds at the Astros, Boyden. What do we got?
Yeah, I was not on the Astros last night. I'm copping back in here. Basically echo everything that DC just said. Abbott might be an arm down the way, but I don't think he's there yet. And this is a prime spot for him to come back to earth. Like DC said, he's been pretty lucky in his first 2 starts. Tough spot here. And then if they get into the bullpen, could be pants off time for the Astros on a Friday night. Love the Diaz call. I've been playing him basically every time he's in the lineup. I think he's a good stick. We got Dubon back in the lineup. I mentioned it, I think it was yesterday when he had the night off. He's been absolutely smoking left-handed pitching. So love Dubon there in the leadoff spot. And the Astros are my 5th stack of the night.
All righty then. Fifth stack of the night. Wow. Philly, Oakland, Taijuan Walker, 2 starts, 12 shutout innings. He's going up against those the pesky Oakland A's tonight, and JP Sears. So, DC, I don't think you're going to be stacking anybody in this ballpark, but any one-offs in this game?
Not going much to the A's. It would be Noda and Seth Brown, who I think are the best one-offs there. I think you can definitely go. Well, you definitely can. I mean, any sack against the A's is always in play just because of how bad their bullpen is. Certainly true of Philly tonight. Not in my top couple 3 stack or top 2 or 3 stacks, just because I do have respect for JP Sears. I've played him a decent amount this year. I do think he's their best pitcher. And I don't love like Schwarber and Harper. I don't love those left-on-left matchups for them, but absolutely you could stack against the A's. And I think the full Philly stack 1 through 5 looks good, like it always does. Just a ton of power there.
Okay, Steve, Phillies at Oakland. Any bets?
Not for me on this huge slate. I get the Phillies play, but Sears has been really good over the last month. And the bats that are hot right now for the Phillies are mostly the righty mashers. So probably later in the weekend we'll be playing some Phillies, I would imagine, but a night game in Oakland on a slate where we got some big time offenses in good spots. I'm just not going here.
Okay. The next one, the aforementioned Yu Darvish, sub 3 ERA. I think it's a 2.68 ERA at home. Going up against Tampa Bay. We know McClanahan's there. Is this a quick one? I'll just pass DC, or can we dig someone up here?
Yeah, no bets for me here.
Boynton.
I'm playing a ton of Yu Darvish here, so no bets on the Rays side. The Padres have been hot, so if you're full fading McClanahan, I don't mind picking a one-off against the Padres. I know JT likes some Padres tonight, so I'll give that a little shout, but personally, no bats here.
DC is the next one. Cleveland, Arizona, another quickie with Gallen and McKenzie, and Gallen being so good at home.
Definitely not playing any Guardians. I do think you could play Diamondbacks against McKenzie. We've only seen a couple starts out of him. He looked awesome. His second start, really bad. His first, and we just don't know. And the Diamondbacks have pretty big upside from night to night, so I do like them a little bit as a contrarian stack, but not a priority play for me.
Steve? Cleveland, Arizona.
Yeah, same deal here. I think the Snakes are interesting. We've just seen it in his first 2 starts. If it's going bad, especially in his career, the bugaboo for McKenzie has been fly balls and home runs. And Arizona really, really good against right-handed pitching, which is why he was my last X on this slate. They're 6th in ISO on the season. So they're hitting righties with power, and McKenzie, his weakness is giving up power. So, the lefties in the Arizona lineup that's not out yet, I think are good plays. I think they're a really interesting play on like the night slate, which usually has decent prize pools. I've been playing those almost every night. I think on the night slate tonight, I actually might 5-man the Diamondbacks because I don't love any of the offenses in the late games.
We're still waiting on a San Francisco and Dodgers lineup. We're still waiting on the Rays and Padres. We're still waiting on the Guardians and Diamondbacks. And I don't know why the Pirates haven't released their lineup yet. I wonder what's going on in the background there. Remind you, like button to be awesome. Summer 33% off the first payment of a weekly or monthly subscription with a lot of sports still going on. If you want DC's cores, if you want Steve's cores and playbook, JT is back in the mix. Somebody said, hey, where's the bald guy down in Atlanta yesterday? Remember that, guys? Well, he's back. The bald guy's back, and he did the playbook today. Get in the Discord, talk to all of our analysts in there. A lot going on. Summer 33, as you can see on your screen. White Sox at the Mariners, Kopech, and woo! Tonight, we're not going, well, come on. We're not playing White Sox bats against our boy. But what about Seattle Mariners bats against Kopech? Are we just completely fading this one too, DC?
Yeah, I'm fading this game for offense. If I was going to go to one side, it would definitely be the Mariners side. we have seen Kopech get just absolutely nuked a couple times this year, give up a ton of home runs. I think that could return at any point. It doesn't look like it right now. I know that, but yeah. So I like both these pitchers. I do think Seattle does have some upside just because Kopech, such a wild card, hard to know what to expect from him on a night-to-night basis.
Steve, what do you got?
I have both of these pitchers. I'm going to give away my core pitchers here. I have both these pitchers in my core. I came around on using Kopech in my main lineup. I actually kind of like doing the pitchers against each other. I know people don't like to do that because they're trying to get 2 wins out of their pitchers. But I think that this could be like a 2-1 game here. Kopech, like we said earlier, after changing up his approach and his pitch mix has been awesome. He's got basically the highest K-prop on the entire slate. So I think he's a great contrarian play. I'm not playing any bats here.
Okay. We got one more game left. Steve, you've been stacking the Dodgers a little bit this week. I don't know if anyone's going with the Giants against Emmett Sheehan. Maybe if you just want to target a rookie in his debut. This will be an intense atmosphere too. Brebbia and Minaya going up against the Dodgers on the Giants side. Steve, any Dodgers tonight? You going back there?
I think you could, especially since we're playing Woo. You're going to have the cash to play the big bats for the Dodgers if you wanted. They didn't break any slates this week against the White Sox, but they hit the ball well. They were just scoring 4 to 6 runs instead of having that explosive 10 to 12 run game. I'm not really scared of the Giants pitching staff as a whole. I don't think anyone's going to play them here, and we've got plenty of salary to work with. So I view them more as a night slate type of play. I'm not using them personally in my 20, but I do get the play for sure.
Okay. DC, any Dodgers tonight?
No, not really. Not going to either offense here. JD Martinez will. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think you could. I'm not ending up there, but I still don't trust the Brebbia Minaya combination. And obviously, this is a very good offense. I think it goes overlooked. So I didn't get here, but yeah, I do think the Dodgers are decent plays tonight. But not going to any Giants against Sheehan.
All right, DC. If you want to. If you want to look at the weather one more time, I'll just go to Steve on some FanDuel plays, then we'll come to you on FanDuel plays. Boynton, anything different on FanDuel than DK with the bats?
Scrolling through the pricing here on FanDuel, the Pirates look more expensive than I would like them to be on FanDuel, especially the outfielders. So that's kind of tough. Nothing really stands out bats-wise besides that. Nothing crazy.
Okay, pretty simple. What about you, DC? FanDuel
The biggest difference is obviously the ability to play Sheehan over there if you want to. Like I said, I'm playing my guy Brian Wu. He does allow you to get the big bats in. Acuna, Ohtani. Personally still going to play my guys Sawinski and Reynolds, even though they're priced up over there. So yeah, I like the savings for the cheaper pitchers over on FanDuel.
Okay. Any weather now? Any updates that you got here?
It should be fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
All right, not bad at all. Very good. It's time for our plays. Before we do that, like button, please do that. Help us out. 33% off your first payment with a weekly or monthly plan. That code is SUMMER33. Fairchild scratch too. All right, Fairchild Benson's in. Thanks, DFS. DC, who's the play of the day?
It's got to be Captain Jack Sawinski. Going to hit 2 home runs for us tonight. I think he's had 3 games with double dongs on the season. Gets his 4th tonight. Jack Sawinski, Mom's Basement play of the day.
E. Boynton, play of the day.
I'm going to go to a guy that was called up recently again, former top prospect, hitting leadoff today for the Angels, who I like a lot. Mickey Moniak has been absolutely crushing right-handed pitching this season. He's got a 199 weighted runs created plus and then 1.103 OPS. 731 slug. So love Moniak there in the one hole. And I like the Angels overall. So I think we see a lot of scoring in that game.
Give me a little Donnie Johnson, boys. Danny Jansen with the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, it's the first time this year I've said Donnie Johnson. So let's go. Let's get another home run here. Donnie, good stuff. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great Father's Day. Even if you don't like your dad, you should still be nice to him at least for the one day. And if you're a dad and you don't like your kids, I don't blame you, but I like mine. So for DC and Boynton, I'm Holden. Keep running pure.